Great pedal settings have made my double bass life way easier and less frustrating, and it's a big factor of how I managed to finally hit my double bass speed and control goals. This 4-step method I'm showing you today works on any pedal, chain drive or direct drive. Also works if you're swole or scrawny like me. For the demonstration, I purposely set my Demon Drive pedals to very awful settings, so I'll adjust them from scratch and you can follow along step by step. A word of caution, you must follow these steps in the correct order. For example, don't go adjusting your spring tension first, as it will affect the calibration of the other settings. So grab your pedals now, get a drum key, disconnect the shaft, and let's start adjusting the right side pedal. First, beater height. Beater height affects the distance the beater travels to the drum head. Force times distance equals energy. So the greater the distance, the more energy is transferred to the drum head, resulting in a louder stroke. I adjust beater height first instead of beater angle because beater height does not affect the spring tension. If I adjust beater angle first to get more energy, it will also make me work much harder, but more on this in step 3. Now let's raise our beater. Mine is about 15 cm from connector to top of beater. This setting gives me enough power without me having to work too hard. This also increases the momentum in the beater swings. Having a heavier beater also has the same effect, but I'm not going to talk about that today because most pedals don't come with customizable beaters or weights. Next, we adjust footboard angle. The footboard angle is crucial for endurance and comfort. If your angle is wrong, it will make playing for longer periods more tiring. The higher the angle, the more your foot is tilted upwards, putting your leg in a less natural position. Prolonged periods of time can lead to unnecessary stress on the foot. If you play heel up like I do, a high angle can force your body to lift your heel higher than normal to compensate. Sitting closer or further away from the drums also affects the angle of your ankle joint, and your sitting position is affected by the length of your legs. So here's a guideline. The taller you are or the longer your legs, the further away from the drum set you can sit, therefore the higher your footboard angle. For my Pearl Demon drives, I like to set it at the neutral angle, right in the middle marking. Checking this with an inclinometer on my phone, it's at 24.9 degrees. This allows me to keep everything around a natural 90 to 100 degree range when I'm playing. And any heel raises will more likely be by choice and not to overcompensate. If you're a normal kind of person like me, neither tall nor short, these neutral settings should work well for you too. Next up, beater angle. Beater angle, like beater height, also changes the amount of energy that can be transferred and the momentum you get, with a big caveat. This also changes the tension on the spring needed. Even though it might sound like a good idea to get louder strokes with a bigger angle, you end up working a lot harder. But if the angle is too small, you will lose a lot of natural momentum and volume. Hence, I like to keep it in the middle. 45 degrees is great, so let's just adjust that and check with an inclinometer. Now connect the pedal shaft and calibrate the same settings for the left pedal. Do this before proceeding to step 4. Finally, we get to spring tension. Loosen the spring to about 10% tension. In other words, real loose. We'll need this as a starting point for the adjustment. Don't worry if the left side angle changes as you loosen the spring. This is normal, especially for the left pedal and beater. Once we tension it up properly, it will return to the 45 degree angle that we set. Next, rest your foot about 3/4 way up your pedal. There's a sweet spot to different pedals depending on footboard weight and length. It's usually around half to 3/4 way up the footboard, give or take. The best metal drummers like to play around this spot. Back to the spring tension test. If you are a heel down player, do not lift your heel for this spring tension test. If you play heel up like me, lift your heel off the pedal gently, keeping the ball of your foot resting on the pedal. The beater should go all the way to the head because we are starting with very loose tension. Now, tighten 4 turns and then do the same heel up or heel down test. Repeat this process until the beater starts to stay off the drum head. From here, you can fine-tune by tightening or loosening just 1 to 2 turns. The result is a beater that is very close to the head but is not touching. This means that the spring properly supports the weight of your leg at playing position, and all you need is a little force to get the beater to the head. These settings are a great starting place for any pedal. You can fine-tune your setup, but I strongly suggest beginner to intermediate players to not tinker beyond these initial settings that we have done today. You want to commit to building good technique instead of adjusting your settings every other week. that can really mess with the development of your technique in the initial stages. I hope this video really helped. If you have any questions about pedal settings, feel free to ask them in the comments below. If you want 2 solid double bass drumming routines, I have them on my YouTube channel. They are the perfect place to start practicing with your new pedal settings. Meanwhile, don't stop dreaming and don't stop drumming.